Greetings. A lot of tech people say that JavaScript is bad. Today I will show you why it's not so simple. We all know the bad parts of JavaScript. Weak types, mess with prototypes and so on. The majority of the issues happens because JavaScript works not the way you expect, coming from the classic languages like C#, Java or even Python. As a result, you quickly get angry and start hate JavaScript. It also was true for me when I met JavaScript for the first time and the several months after it. But I have to admit that for the past 3 or 4 years, I use JavaScript for every project I develop as a founder or co-founder. Here is the story of one of the projects that I was working on around 2 years ago. It was an experiment in many respects. I was curious how far can I go performance-wise and platform-wise. How fast will I be able to move using JavaScript for everything and how much pain it will cost me. Here is the project itself. It is a video game. I called it Hot Hex. You press the hexagons. Every hexagon has something under it, and the main goal is to find what it's called win hexagon, the green one. You have limited tries for each level. When you find the win hexagon, you have two options. First one is to collect your score and end the game, or you can take the risk of losing your score and try to clear one more level. And in the end, you can see the table of players with the highest scores and you can compete with them. There are some animations here, sounds, everything that a modern video game has. Because of it was just proof of concept, I was focusing mostly on the tech and development process parts of the project. There is a Node.js backend and also mobile applications, but we will come back to it a bit later. The most amazing thing to me in the project was the conditions in which I was working on it. I wrote the project for 2 months, having 25 minutes in a public transport on my way to office and 25 minutes on my way back. The road looked like this. Jump on a bus, open my laptop, work on the project for 15 minutes, close the laptop, leave the bus, walk to the train station, jump on a train, work for 10 minutes more, leave the train, walk to the office, do the same backward on the way back after the office hours. It was happening 4 or 5 days a week, and in 2 months I had a fully working product. I've built everything on the front end first, then to prevent potential cheating from the players who had some tech background, I started to work on the server. I had to move huge parts of the game logic from the client to the server, and because I had the same language on the front and back ends, it was so fast and easy to achieve. There was no need for any sort of translations, like from JavaScript to Python, to Java or PHP, whatever. I was just copying complete code chunks from one editor window and pasting them to another. A little bit of the server logic around. Let's calculate the overall time spent on the development. 50 minutes per day, 5 days a week and 2 months in total, which is 33.3333. Let's probably take 34 hours for a full functioning web app. The reason why it happened was the rest of the time. I spent 34 hours in the editor, but the project was on my mind even when I wasn't writing the code. When I was having lunch, doing sport, during boring meetings and so on, I was thinking about the project. And every time I was opening my laptop, shaking in a bus, I knew what exactly I'm going to write in the next 15 minutes. Then I deployed the project to the VPS and moved to the next step. I was thinking, okay, I have a web app, but what if I also want to cover mobile platforms? I wanted to do it as cheaply as possible, money-wise and time-wise, and also I wanted to test if I will be able to add some ads to the game. I hate ads, but again, it was just a proof of concept for the potential business cases. And it was so easy. Just in 2 hours, I've created a simple app wrapper using React Native. It was consist of 2 components, a web view that was pointing to the web server and the ads component that I created using the standard AdMob library for React Native. And that's it, 2 hours. Actually, there were more hours to create all the screenshots and icons for the mobile stores, but technically it was it. Then I applied the app to the Android Play Store, and in a couple of days the app passed the review and got to the store list. Here it is, the HotHacks app. Andrei Kupri. Contains ads. Don't worry about the performance. This is my 3 or 4 years old smartphone. I bought it for $100. It is running Android 7, I believe, and has pretty low specs, and the game works perfectly on it without any lags. There is no application on the Apple App Store because Android was enough for me to prove the concept, and I didn't want to pay $100 for the Apple account without having a commercial project for it. Now I'm working on one, and maybe I will add HotHacks to the Apple Store afterward. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. There is one more thing about having your apps in the mobile stores like so. The moment you will need to update the app, you just update the web part, and all the new features will automatically be there. You don't have to do a new version for mobile devices. No mobile apps update, and no need to stay in the line for the store's approve. So as a business you move faster with new features. And if you will need a desktop version, you can simply create it using Electron, which is a JavaScript framework for building desktop apps. Visual Studio Code, Slack, and many more apps you have on your computer are written using Electron. Basically they are web apps that behave like desktop apps. Now think about it for a minute. As a business who has a startup idea or idea for a small project, having your MVP feature list, in 90% of the cases you can have a single developer who is familiar with JavaScript that will cover all the platforms you may need. Not bad for the horrible and dirty JavaScript. Yes, it's not going to be the best piece of software in the world, but for the business it's perfect because of the time to market, developers availability, and the development cost. Alright. That's it for today. You're welcome to have a holy war in the comments section, and I'm going to do the editing and post the video for you. Take care.